Monday, August 19th meeting of the Hammond City Plan Commission. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call.
Sandra Stratton,
Here.
Michael Dye, Ann Herbert, Kathleen Hill,
Here.
William Hutton,
Here.
Michael Pinker,
Here.
Kim White, Thomas White,
Here.
5 present. We have a quorum.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just to note for the record that with only 5 present, that any decision has to be made with all 5 voting in the same way.
You want to let the petitioner know that also?
Next order of business is approval of the minutes of the July 15th, 2013 meeting. Do I have
So
a motion
moved.
to approve? So
Second?
moved. Motion and second. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Do we have any old business?
No old business.
New business. CP 1307, petition of Cabela's for the re-subdivision of Block 3, Cabela's Gateway addition to the City of Hammond, 7800 and 7900 block of Cabela's Drive in a C4 General Commercial District.
Mr. President,
Yes?
just a note for the record that the notification requirements have been met.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Vanessa McQueen. I'm with Manhard Consulting. We're the civil engineers for Walmart stores. As the staff report indicates, we're proposing a re-subdivision of the Cabela's Gateway addition for a proposed Walmart project. The Cabela's Gateway addition original subdivision was recorded in 2007 for the Cabela's at Indianapolis Boulevard, 8094, and the new Cabela Drive that was constructed with part of the Cabela's. At the time of the original Cabela's Gateway Addition subdivision, Cabela's subdivided out a separate block. The overall outline there, which is the existing block 3 in the original subdivision. For the proposed Walmart project, we're requesting to re-subdivide block 3 into 3 new lots. The Walmart lot would be called Lot 1 in block 3, is about 23.8 acres. Lot 2 is about 17 acres. That is to the south of Lot 1, the Walmart lot. That area there is to be retained by Cabela's for future sale and development of the parcel. And then Outlet C in Block 3 is the tieback levee and bike path along the west side of the property behind the Northcott residence area. That strip of land over there. And that would also be retained by Cabela's as the owner of the property. The existing property has several utility and drainage easements running through it. The drainage easement running through the middle of the property is proposed to be vacated and relocated around the perimeter of the property. There's an existing drainage ditch that Cabela's built that drains the outlots along Cabela and in between Cabela Drive and Indianapolis Boulevard. Those drain via this existing ditch that was built in 2008. So as part of the proposed Walmart project, we're going to relocate it around the perimeter of the property. So because where it is situated currently would run through the middle of the Walmart store. So we would relocate that and grant a new drainage easement around the perimeter, as well as several new utility easements within the property for water main and gas and electric with NIPSCO to allow the services to feed the proposed Walmart store. We don't, since Cabela Drive was dedicated and constructed with part of the Cabela's construction, we don't have any proposed public dedication, right-of-way dedication with this re-subdivision. Everything was dedicated originally. And also we have a sign easement. So up at the intersection of Cabela Drive and Indianapolis Boulevard, we have a proposed shared sign that would have a Walmart sign, a Cabela sign, and then ability for a third sign for the future development area. So we are proposing a sign easement on that lot since it will be used by Cabela's and Walmart, but ultimately, in theory, none of them would own that land because it would be sold to a future developer of that parcel. So we have a sign easement on that land, and then we also have a private electric easement running along the Cabela Drive frontage to service that sign. So the electrical would come from the Walmart building and run up to that sign and be powered. That would be how the sign would be powered. I think that pretty much describes the plat, if we have any questions.
Actually, if you could discuss the access easement.
Certainly. With the configuration of the proposed Lot 2 being along the curve of Cabela Drive, there's limited ability for Lot 2 to add a new curb cut into Cabela Drive. So we have a proposed access easement along the southeastern portion of the Walmart parcel, Lot 1, that would allow for cross-access between Lot 1 and Lot 2, so that in the future when Lot 2 develops, they have the ability to connect through the Walmart parcel. Let me pull up a site plan for you. Illustrate a little easier. So we have a proposed driveway off of Cabela Drive along the south end of the Walmart parking lot. There's an access easement along this portion of the driveway that would allow the future Lot 2 to tie in at one or two locations, depending on their proposed development.
And with that, can you talk about the no access easements?
Yes, so to prevent congestion at the intersection of Cabela Drive and the new proposed driveway, we have a no access easement for the first 150 feet? 150 feet away from Cabela Drive. So Lot 2 could not have a driveway in the first 150 feet off of Cabela Drive. So they're restricted in that first 150 feet. And then they have the ability to add a driveway basically teeing off of the internal driveway on the Walmart property, teeing into Lot 2.
Second no access easement?
Trying to remember where a second. Oh, along the rear. So the other place we have the no access is along the backside of the Walmart, where we have the no access for a couple of reasons. We have conflict with the parking area here, where you would have parked vehicles potentially backing out into an area where there'd be a driveway teeing into it. And also we have a grade change in the back corner where we have retaining walls. So physically, they would not be able to make a cross connection at that point. So that's why we've provided a no access easement along the rear portion of the parking lot.
Where would delivery trucks go?
I'm sorry?
Delivery trucks?
Delivery trucks.
Delivery trucks.
Delivery trucks would enter through the southern driveway onto Cabela Drive and come around the rear of the store, and then there's a truck turnaround provided in the rear, so the trucks could access either of the two proposed truck docks and then go back out via the Walmart driveway to Cabela Drive.
Mr. President, As Chief Fire Inspector, I have reviewed all these plans, and we have the biggest trucks, obviously, in the city, and any deliveries, and their turning radiuses that are they accept any trucks bigger than they're going to have delivered. And everything, like I said, I reviewed all the plans as Chief Fire Inspector. Everything looks fine to me. I have no problems with the layout, the plans. It's all good.
Mr. President,
Yes.
several questions I have, and now that I'm listening to this presentation, the drainage of the parking lot, where is that going?
The drainage will all go to the existing detention basin that Cabela's built. When Cabela's constructed their site and the detention, they provided a large enough basin for the entire site to be developed for commercial. So the Cabela's block and this block 3 that we're proposing to re-subdivide into 2 lots, detention was provided with capacity for all of those lots.
You
How-
want buildings on them and parking spaces?
Correct. It was assumed that they would all be commercial development,
I believe it was assumed at like 90% hard surface.
something along that order. Mhm.
When I look at Block 2, is that right? Block 2 to the east, Walmart, yeah. How do they get their utilities over to that drainage retention?
How they currently get their drainage?
How will they get it in the future after Walmart's developed?
I believe there is a drainage pipe underneath the street that connects into the ditch, and then what the whole discussion is that ditch will be changed into another pipe, which will be directed on the periphery of the lot.
So this is the drainage swale right now, and then we're gonna go to a pipe system underground?
Correct.
Is there an easement for sanitary extension to that lot?
The sanitary proposed is just service lines for Walmart, so there's no public extension proposed on the Walmart lot.
So they're going to share that same line?
The future lot 2 can connect to the sanitary in Cabela Drive without needing to cross into the Walmart property.
Okay.
And that sanitary service is large enough to handle Block 2?
Yes, yes.
The drainage easement that you're talking about is relocating is the one that goes through the middle of Block 1, Block 3, and you're going to move that to the south.
Correct. It currently runs through the middle, bisects the property. It is proposed to be relocated along the south perimeter back to the detention basin.
And anybody can use that.
It's a public drainage easement.
Thank you.
So it's,
Yeah, I mean, it will still service block 2.
Okay.
The borrow area, did you get the comments from Steve Strickland from ABH Donahue?
yes,
Is that going to be resolved?
yes, we will resolve that.
Yeah, just to point out that, Mr. President, that particular question really falls into the category of the development plan, and that is, they will come back next month, and all that we discussed at that time at the Plan Commission.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that they got the information,
We did.
so it's not a surprise next month.
What is the finished floor elevation of Walmart?
We are up at 701, I believe.
601.
601, sorry. 601, the same elevation as the Cabela's.
And that's
Above the flood elevation.
floodplain? How much?
That's right above it. Well, you remember the big flood that Cabela's building never took water, but the whole rest of the site got flooded.
Right, but also remember that this area was removed from the floodplain, and the floodplain elevation was reduced to like 596 or 5.
595.
So they are still going to, in essence, they're meeting the previous floodplain elevation. By elevating the store, they're not required to, but they choose to. And again, that's an issue for the development plan.
Any other questions? So we have a public hearing today too, Brian, so we can ask if anyone in the audience has any questions?
Yes.
Is there anyone in the audience who has any questions concerning this project?
See the pictures, and this is a one-floor or one-story building.
Actually, you need to come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, please.
Mark Easements, 7841 Northcott. This is a one-story, or whatever, how tall is it, 20 feet high or something? What they built?
Well, why don't you ask other questions and then we'll have it for next address.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as far as what, that's fine. I was just curious how tall it'll be, because obviously they're raising the ground underneath to get it up higher like Cabela's, and it's that, I was just, because we're here, that's all. I was just, you know, it's not like I'm gonna have to look at it, but just curious how tall it's gonna be. That's it, I mean, you know. It's gonna be the John Hancock Center, I might be concerned.
The proposed building would be about 28 feet with some parapet walls that, I can't remember exactly if we get up to 30 or 32 with the parapet walls, but we're in the 28 to 30 range.
It's not gonna be as tall as Cabela's, that's.
No, it's shorter than Cabela's. If I remember correctly, Cabela's was around 40.
And, yeah, and their high point was around 70. Most of the Cabela's is at 40.
If there's no other questions from the audience, I'm going to close the public hearing section. Any additional questions from any of the commissioners? Brian, you want to present the staff report?
Yes, thank you. Just a
Is there a revised one, or?
Yes, there is a revised one. There was just a minor technical correction on the site or staff report. So it should be marked as REV August 19th, 2013. I think the majority of the things that I wanted to point out is that there's still some technical things that we want to get resolved on the drawing as it is presented. There's been some discussions with NIPSCO about the width of the easement. Right now, the drawing is showing that there is a 55-foot utility easement along Cabela Drive. That easement is, at this point, is designed only to take NIPSCO and the relocated storm sewer, and 55 feet is more than adequate, and so there's still continuing discussions to make sure NIPSCO is okay with reducing the size of that so it's not an excessive burden on the property. The drainage easement, as Mr. Dostotny would know, the sanitary district has agreed to release the drainage easement that runs, bisects the property. That would be up for the petitioner to have that recorded and the document number written onto the Mylars. There's a reference under the surveyor's notes that the plat survey, Alta survey has not been recorded yet, and once that is done, that document number needs to be placed in the drawing. So at this stage, we're also, there needs to be additional field work by the surveyor to get the elevation points at some of the corners of the lots. Once they provide us all the technical information, that will complete the drawing as required under the ordinance. With that being said, just to go straight to the staff recommendation, is that, again, noting that there are several technical issues that I just outlined for you. Except for these corrections, this plat is in compliance with the subdivision control ordinance. Staff does recommend that the Plan Commission grant preliminary and final approval of the re-subdivision of Block 3 of Cabela's addition, subject to those technical corrections. And of course, if the Plan Commission agrees with the recommendation, staff recommends that this report is adopted as findings of fact.
Do we have a motion to?
I would move that we accept this report as findings of fact.
I would second that.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the motion?
I do. I just want to make sure I understand this. The finished floor elevation is 601, Brian?
I'm sorry, say that again?
601 is the finished floor elevation?
Finished floor, yes.
And looking at the corners, we have 595, 594.
Yes.
That's not going to be an issue?
As a general response, they are planning on elevating the site in order to accomplish the 601 elevation. And again, that will be something that will be discussed next month at the presentation of the development plan.
Thank you.
What's the elevation of Cabela's Drive? It's pretty consistent from what I remember.
Do you mean the pavement? The elevation of the pavement?
No, the actual roadway that services the Cabela store.
At those corners, we're at 596 and 595 here.
Okay.
And it is, the roadway is pretty consistent from across the frontage. It doesn't slope majorly north-south or anything.
So the parking lot is going to slope towards the road.
Correct.
If you roll your cart out and let go of it, will it continue to roll down Cabela's Drive?
No. No.
I think it will. Good question, Mr. Engineer.
What about the water flow too with rain?
Well, the water flow is going to get picked up internally in the parking lot. Only the drawing is so tiny. I've seen the big one, but I don't remember.
Yes, it will. It will get picked up internally in the parking lot.
Well, I think those questions will get resolved for next month's meeting. I think it's feasible. We just need to see a bit more information. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions? If not, roll call vote.
Sandra Stotney,
Yes.
Kathleen Hill,
Yes?
William Hutton,
Yes.
Michael Pinker,
Yes.
Thomas White,
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
So what else do we have to do with this, Brian?
You have
Thank
to
you.
make the motion to grant preliminary and final approval, subject to the technical corrections that on the plat.
Does this go to the council?
No, it does not.
Okay. Anybody want to?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Sandra Stotney,
Yes.
Kathleen Hill,
Yes?
William Hutton,
Yes.
Michael Pinker,
Yes.
Thomas White,
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
Okay. That completes everything on CP 1307. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you. Now we'll move on to CP 05-03B, ratification of certificate of correction regarding Lot 2, Home Depot, Woodmar Edition, 1604 to 1646, 165th Street, in a C4 General Commercial District.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I would just like the board to know, I don't think there's any conflict here, but I'll enlighten you that American Structure Point is a tenant of mine in a building I have in Highland. Don't know if the board has a problem with that.
Oh,
I
it's
see-
attorney, what about the attorney?
No, I see no conflict.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
may I go ahead and make a presentation on this?
Okay.
All right. Again, CP 0503, Part B. The Home Depot Walmart edition was approved by the Plan Commission in 2005. We have been talking with a prospective purchaser of one of the lots, in particular Lot 2, which is at the 165th Street side of the property. And in looking at the Alta survey, it was noted that there's a potential problem or conflict within the drawings. And from further review and discussion, it was determined that there was the dimension that was marked on the original plat was in error. So the surveyor, which was American Structure Point, has prepared a certificate of correction that would change or correct that number. Based on our precedents that we've had, it would be a matter of the Planning Commission just ratifying the certificate, signing the document, and then this document could be recorded to reflect that correction on the plat.
What was the number on there? I see what it is now. What was it?
Yeah, it was like, to be honest, I don't remember the number, but it was like 180. Based on how we reviewed it, it looked like that it was measured from the primary property line or right-of-way line in 165th Street and did not account for the inset of what the public right-of-way was ultimately dedicated as.
Thank you.
So all we need is a motion to agree.
A motion to ratify the certificate of correction.
Anyone want to make
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Sam Stadney?
Yes.
Kathleen Hill?
Yes.
William Hutton?
Yes.
Michael Finger?
Yes.
Thomas White?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
That's all we need to do on this, right, Brian?
That's all you need to do.
Okay, next we move on to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Do we have any commissioner comments? Do we have any staff comments?
Yes, a couple of staff comments. I just want to point out to you again that we will have a Planning Commission meeting at the next month, and that will be September 16th. At that time, we will have the development plan of the Walmart project up for approval. There was a couple of other things that were being discussed, but I don't think they're ready for being submitted in time. Also want to discuss some of the Plan Commission members. You may remember that last year that we were working on the Southern Shores Plan, which was a plan for the Indianapolis Boulevard area up in Robertsdale. This was a project that was jointly being conducted with Whiting, and that project has kind of languished over a little time, but we're trying to get it reactivated. The consultant sent me an email and is asking me a question about setting up a meeting to discuss the project again. What we'd like to do is actually have a joint Plan Commission meeting with Whiting so that both Plan Commissions hear the final presentation of the plan, and then on the subsequent meetings of the respective Plan Commissions, and we've talked about whether or not that would be a joint meeting or one right after the other or stuff like that. That we'd actually have a motion to approve the plan. When you approve an amendment to a comprehensive plan, it's actually a recommendation that goes to the respective city councils, so that would be the follow-up step. But as far as having a joint Plan Commission meeting with the presentation, I'm asking if you can check your schedules and see when you would like to do this. It would certainly be off of our normal third Monday of the month schedule. And again, we're trying to coordinate with the city of Whiting. If you could let me know if there's any significant date conflicts within the next 30 to 45 days, just let Shannon or myself know that, and I mean this like as soon as possible, like within the next couple of days, so I can continue discussions with the consultant in the city of Whiting to try and work out a date that would work for the most possible people.
Where might that be?
Right now, we're talking about Lost Marsh, doing it there. Subject to change, but at least that's the preliminary discussion.
We have, when will we know if we had our October 21st meeting? That won't be until,
Yeah, we would,
or you need to know before then.
well, I would like to know, again, try and set this up between the next 30 to 45 days. I would want to keep the October meeting, regular plan commission meeting, as potentially the meeting date in which you guys would actually make your decision or your recommendation on the plan. So we want to have the presentation in this joint fashion, sometime well before that.
I might recommend that you pick maybe 2 dates and put it out to the board rather than for us to give you dates, good or bad,
Well, I appreciate that, and
That'll work.
I think it's just that if you know you're going to be gone on vacation a particular week, just let me know that.
November 28th is not good.
November 28th, is that what you said? Well, I think December 25th is out too.
November 1st is out.
Okay.
I thought you wanted in September.
Yeah, I was looking for September, October. So should I assume from this discussion that you guys are fairly open between in the month of September?
Yes.
All right.
Available September 5th.
What time of day? Are you saying 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
It would be an evening meeting. Again, I don't know the specific times because I'm trying to coordinate with Whiting.
Please
Be a
avoid,
long meeting?
I'm sorry?
Think it'll be a long meeting?
I don't know. I'd say I think you should plan on an hour.
Mr. President? Is Brian buying dinner? Are you buying dinner?
dinner.
I don't
We could
know the
start
budget
earlier.
to accommodate that request, but thank you for asking.
What I want to know is who's going to chair that meeting.
We haven't worked out those details, and that is something that will probably be directed between myself and Bob Park, I believe, is their staff person, and Whiting and the consultants. It will be handled in that fashion.
I vote for Stan.
Second it.
Yeah. Stay away from Wednesdays, please. Thank you.
December 12th is, not December, you got me. September 12th is not good. The 6th or the 12th for me.
November 6th, well,
Keep in mind the mayor's night out schedule.
I am,
And
well,
sanitary district every other Tuesday.
I know, and
Rosh Hashanah on the 4th.
I realize it's going to be always a challenge to try and schedule it, but I just wanted to ask and see what feedback I could get.
And be aware of Marina meetings as well.
I'm sorry, what?
Marinas has a board meeting twice a month.
When are their meetings?
That's good. I think it's the second and fourth Tuesday, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. All right, I will keep you guys apprised of
Sounds like you should just give us some dates.
Yeah, once you give us a date or 2 dates, email it, and
yeah,
it's
no,
either go or no go.
that's fine.
That's the way to do it.
I was just looking for red flag dates.
Yeah, shoot a couple dates out there in September and
Yeah, that's fine. I will do that.
Well, the 23rd would definitely be a red flag day. Firefighters go off outing.
Is that the Notre Dame game?
No, that's the Hammond firefighters golf outing.
Got it. Okay.
So
So there's a lot of not good days.
I realize that. I realize that. So let me ask this for
You opened it up, Brian. You opened it. We walked in.
Got
so
Patriots Day on the 11th.
would how about this? Would Tuesdays be a good day? Most Tuesdays are those okay?
Well, I have a sanitary district every other Tuesday.
I have Marina meetings on Tuesdays.
I would think Monday would be the best day.
Well, Mondays will conflict with city council, so that's part of the problem.
Thursday?
The only Thursday I can't come is September 12th.
Thursday's good,
No.
Okay, so
especially if we're getting fed.
don't spread the rumors. Okay, so generally, you think Thursdays are gonna work for you, for the most of you.
Just what I'm hearing, it sounds like
All right, well,
maybe.
I mean, that helps, that gives you a place to start. you know?
Right, right.
Okay. All right. Yes, that's all I have.
Mr. President, there's obviously no public comment. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
All motion. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Meeting adjourned.